Hi, my name is Jen Dorsey. I'm a 4th grade teacher at Mechanicsville Elementary School. Today I'd like to show you how we can multiply whole numbers by fractions using a number line. Let's take a look at a problem. Jillian works at a candy factory bagging and boxing jelly beans. She puts 3/4 of a pound of jelly beans in each bag. Then Jillian places 5 of the bags into a box for shipping. How heavy is the box? When I think about what this problem is telling me, I know that Jillian is going to be putting 5 bags into a box. I'm going to make a note of that down here. I also know that each of those bags is going to weigh 3/4 of a pound. I'm going to make another note of that. If I'm thinking each of those 5 bags weighs 3/4 of a pound, I could think of this as 5 groups of 3/4. In class, we teach our students that combining equal groups means we need to multiply. That's what we're going to do today. Now, I have my number line set up, but I know I need to show groups of 3/4. That tells me that I need to partition my wholes into fourths. In class, when we teach our students to partition wholes, we teach them to partition the whole in half first, and then to partition each of those halves in half to create 1, 2, 3, 4 fourths. I'm going to continue that on my number line. All right, so now I need to show 5 groups of 3/4. I'm going to use an arrow to help me keep track of my groups. I'm going to start at 0 and count 1, 2, here's my 3rd, 4th. So my arrow will begin at 0 and end right here. I'm going to continue this so I can show all 5 of my groups. 1, 2, 3/4. 1, 2, 3/4. 1, 2, 3/4. And again, 1, 2, 3/4. I am going to double check to make sure I have all 5 of my groups represented here. Now that I've checked my work, I can use the labels on my number line to find the total weight of Jillian's box. I can see that her box is going to weigh 3 whole pounds and 1, 2, 3/4 of another pound. So Jillian's box will weigh 3 and 3/4 pounds. Let's try another problem. Parker has decided to paint each of his 4-bedroom walls. He estimates it will take him 1 2/3 hours to paint each wall. How long will it take Parker to paint his room? When I think about what this problem is telling me, I know that he's painting 4 bedroom walls. I also know that he's thinking it might take him a little bit of time. He's thinking it could take 1 2/3 hours. Just like the last time, I know that I can multiply 4 groups of 1 2/3. But this problem looks a little bit different than the first. That's because we're mixing 1 whole with 2/3. We call this a mixed number. Now, one way I can understand mixed numbers is to think 1 whole is also made of 3/3. If I combine that with these 2/3, I could also be thinking of 1 2/3 as 5/3. When I go to show this on my number line, I'm going to partition each of my wholes into thirds. So to keep track of my 4 groups of 1 2/3, or we could think of it as 4 groups of 5/3, I'm going to use an arrow again. I'm going to count really carefully this time though, because if I'm counting 5/3, I might lose track if I'm not careful. 1, 2, 3, 4, here's where 5/3 is. You might also notice that this is in the exact same location as 1 2/3. That's because 5/3 is equivalent to 1 2/3. I'm going to keep showing my other groups of 5/3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 thirds again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 thirds. And my final group of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 thirds. Now that I'm sure that I have 1, 2, 3, 4 groups of 5 thirds, I can use the labels on my number line to help me find the total time Parker will be taking. He will be taking 6 whole hours and 2/3 of another hour. So Parker will need 6 and 2/3 hours to paint his room. He might want to think about asking a friend to help him. This is how we use number lines to help us multiply fractions and whole numbers.